Ahoy there. Hope my words find you in good health, that you're finding your purpose in this world. We're going to have a short discussion or a short dialogue on the science of psychology. Our modern society, especially our court and legal system, puts a lot of weight and judgment on psychology, on mental disorders, which aren't really mental disorders, they're behavioral disorders. And in doing so, we're throwing all this judgment, all this weight on these labels. We're not doing the person justice, and we're not doing the science justice. Because you have to keep psychology in perspective. Psychology is the scientific study of the mind and human behavior. The foundation of psychology is philosophy. Philosophy is the Tai Chi, the foundational art that created all of the other martial arts. Philosophy is the foundation of psychology. It's the foundation of the humanities. And psychology is only seeking to answer questions that philosophers have been reasoning about for thousands of years. Now, psychology began or is officially recognized with the first clinical research lab built by Wilhelm Wundt in 1879, so about 141 years ago. So in our 200,000 years of existence on this earth, psychology has been around for 141 years, observing and analyzing. However, this observation and analysis greatly or most frequently occurs within our Western world. It occurs within the confines of our developed postmodern society. And that's kind of how we're comparing these behaviors and developing these labels compared to these behaviors of our confined, privileged society, predominantly white. So psychology is the study of the mind. My question is, if you think you have a mind, please point to where it is on your person. Is it the gray matter that sits behind our teeth? Is that our mind? Is that where our mind is? You see, the belief in a mind, to believe you have a mind, is to believe quite literally in magic. Our brains are nothing but a storm of electrical impulses jumping across synapses and firing neurons. And out of this thundercloud, out of this light show, our consciousness appears, our mind appears. And so it's quite literally magic. Here we have these dazzling lights, maybe a little snap and a pop, and out of nothing comes something. Out of this storm, electrical storm, you emerge, your consciousness emerges. So psychology is a legitimate science built on the premise of a magical, theoretical thing like our mind. You see, philosophers, neuroscientists, psychologists haven't even concluded if we have a mind. There are varying schools of thought of, can our mind even exist inside of our body? Can our mind go other places besides our body? And if it can, how? Why? Where does it go? What does it do when it leaves our body? Then you also have to put the labels that come out, like the Diagnostic Statistic Manual, things like schizophrenia, bipolar, autism, these kinds of labels that come from psychologists. People have always been this way. For 200,000 years, we've always been this way. There have always been autistic people. We're seeing it no more now in our society because we're confined, we're privileged, and we're bored. So we have time to walk around and say, you know, you kind of get hyper sometimes. Maybe you're bipolar. Oh, you hear voices? You're schizophrenic. People have always been hearing voices. People have always been bipolar, all of these things. People have always been autistic. And the reason we have these behaviors is, even though it may be considered antisocial in our privileged, confined context inside of our perfect little boxes, that this is just one slice of a period of time in our 200,000 years on this earth. Given another context, these antisocial behaviors, someone who has autism may overanalyze, over-obsess over one specific task. They may just dive right into it. Outside of the context of our suburban world, those behaviors are beneficial. Put that same drive, analysis, obsession into an individual in a hunter-gatherer society, and they're going to make quite proficient hunters because they're analyzing the behaviors in the animal. They're constantly refining their craft and their art of hunting. Take someone who is autistic, make them a quant, put them in charge of our entire financial system, and watch real magic happen, watch amazing things happen. You see, those who have neurotypical brains judge those who have neurodiverse brains because it's different, it's abnormal. You have a label. There must be something wrong with you if you have a label. It's not true. If you have a label, it makes you special, it makes you unique. And it's just an analysis of your behaviors to help give you more information about yourself so that you can change your behaviors if you want to or if you don't want to. You can be the person you want to be and achieve the things you want to achieve. However, our society has a lot of judgment of labels, especially those things we aren't familiar with. And so you got to take that judgment and just kind of throw it away. Because first off, the label is coming from a psychologist who has their own mental issues. People only become psychologists because they have their own mental issues, and they're trying to resolve their mental issues so that they can free other individuals from their mental issues. It's the benevolence of psychologists. They go through this pain, they go and they study themselves, and then therefore will help other people. Of this science that's only been around for a very short amount of time. And in that short amount of time, psychologists have made a lot of mess ups. They've done a lot of screw ups, and there's phrenology, there was the whole gays or being homosexuals, a mental disorder. Like, there's been a lot of discrimination, a lot of prejudice that's come out of psychology. And it's because people don't understand what psychology is probably trying to do. We're all crazy. Psychologists haven't developed a label for you yet. So I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening.